at Pepperdine University. It's the 4th time around. The Battle of the Network Stars, Net War 4.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Howard.
Breaking through the clouds, one sees the waves of Malibu Beach, California, and overlooking that scene set, the stars of ABC, NBC, and CBS have gathered there at Pepperdine University to do competitive battle. It's the 4th time around. ABC has won twice, NBC once, CBS without a victory. But a new leader, Captain Tony Randall, from The Odd Couple and The Tony Randall Show.
Howdy, folks.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's all over, folks. It's all over.
Kevin Dobson of Kojak. It may be over for Kevin, but it's just beginning for James MacArthur of Hawaii 5-0. Grim, determined. And Denise Nicholas of Baby I'm Back.
Is my makeup good enough for you, Howard?
Perfect, Denise. And that's Mackenzie Phillips of One Day at a Time. That lovely is Victoria Principal of Dallas.
Oh, I've been practicing all night.
This is Big Bo Svensson of Big Bo, and how he's trained for this competition. And that's Jimmy Walker of Good Times.
Forget the rest, because CBS is the best. Right here. Look out.
Leading the NBC team is Richard Benjamin of Clark. And he knows he's got a big girl on tap going for him. Here she is.
Played basketball all through college, captain of the team all the way. High school, too, had something like this is pretty good, Howard, 39-point average.
Go.
Rhonda Bates of Roller Girls. And Jane Curtin of Saturday Night Live.
Hi.
Dennis Dugan, Richie Brockelman, Private Eye. And a little girl comes in a chariot. Melissa Gilbert, A Little House on the Prairie.
I'm too little for all this.
And another little one, but old, Audie Johnson of Knockout.
Where do I go?
I may do a little fandango myself.
A third small one, but tough. Lance Kerwin of James at 16.
Where's my horse at?
Yeah.
I have my motorcycle down there. Where's the horse?
Larry Wilcox of Chips, and now, captain of the defending champions, Gabriel Kaplan. Welcome back, Potter. You listen to him long enough, you'll think he made a star of John Travolta. But he will be leading that lovely young lady, Debbie Boone of Pat Boone and Family, with the year's biggest hit record, You Light Up My Life. And now the captain, Darryl Dragon, captain in Tennille in Hawaii, with his lovely wife, Toni Tennille, from the same show, and she's an animated one. Kenny Holliday, Carter Country.
Here we are at the Battle of the Network Stars, folks. And it's going to be a hot and heavy afternoon, we hope.
Yeah, a boy that run 103 seconds. And
Steve Landisberg, Barney Miller.
I feel good about the whole race, you know. But sure, 4 of our members have died, though.
Parker Stevenson, the Hardy Boys, the Ivy League hustler from Princeton. And for a touch of rare international beauty, the queen of the high fashion models, embarking on a new career in television with no apparent aptitude for football, Miss Cheryl Teagues.
Thank you, Howard. You're so kind.
Kind indeed, Cheryl. And so, there she is, and there they are. 24 of the major stars of network television about to begin another competition. The Battle of the Network Stars, Net War 4.
The Battle of the Network Stars is brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. And by Buick, currently celebrating its 75th anniversary. And by Buick dealers across the country. Buick, 75 years of cars that reflect the thinking of the times.
The battlefield is below. The captains are talking to their respective teams. A crowd of several thousand already on hand for the first event, the swimming relay, coming up.
Very interesting. But the least they could have done is given me a pair of water wings. These helmets are murder to swim in.
They're getting ready for the swimming competition. Look at the captain and Tennille. Victoria Principal. Melissa Gilbert and Rhonda Bates.
I'm going to fall in, and you run across my back and touch home now. You're in there.
This breathtakingly beautiful young woman should be quickly recognizable to all of you. She was a participant in the Battle of the Network Stars, 1977 version. Since then, she has become the star of Three's Company and one of America's most familiar faces, Suzanne Summers, of course. This time, she will be the co-host of Net War 4, the Battle of the Network Stars, fourth time around. Welcome aboard.
Hello, Howard. How are you?
Snuggle some more.
Snuggle more? You dirty old man, you.
That's true. Beauty and the Beast. Tell us, if you will,
Yes.
what it was like to have been a participant in the competition last time.
Well, it's very scary because there's a lot of pressure. And the pressure comes from the incentive. And the incentive is that the total prize money is $360,000, which when you break it down means that each winner gets $20,000 for themselves. And that's quite a lot of loose change.
A lot of them.
Yes. And the second prize winner gets $15,000, and the loser, if you can call them losers, get $10,000. So it's terrific incentive. You get that last lap in there.
I remember the way you applied the last lap when you were in the swimming competition. You died in the water. In the meantime...
I told you I'm a one-lap girl.
All right. My other colleague, as always, on this show is that young man. Remember Montreal? The decathlon, the world's greatest athlete? Now, a Lothario, starring with Dorothy Hamill in her special.
Eat your heart out, Howard.
Let's get back to business here. There'll be 7 events. Now we're going to start off with swimming,
Rowing, and a new event, the Frisbee throw. Obstacle course, running relay, football, and then we're going to end it up with the tug of war. Now, the way the scoring is going to work, it's going to be 100 points for first place, 75 for second, 50 for third. There's one event that we're going to show today that won't be scored. It's a fun event. Lou Goldstein will be here to play Simon Says with all the stars. Suzanne, why don't you introduce the team?
Okay, Bruce. Boy, you cause an explosion wherever you go, don't you?
That's show business.
Okay, I think I see her finishing a glass of milk over there, leading off for ABC. The first leg is Debbie Boone. She's going to light up everybody's life. She's really a cute girl. Following Debbie in the second leg is Tony Tennille. There you go, Tony. Following Tony is her husband, the captain, Daryl Dragon. We'll see if he can keep his hat on. Ever seen him without his hat? Ken Halliday is the fourth leg. He spelled his name a little strangely. It's K-E-N-E. And following Ken, our All-American boy, Parker Stevenson. They'll be swimming 50 meters. That's the ABC team. Now for CBS. Leading off at CBS is 6 foot 6 inches, Bo Svensson. He's been working out for this. Following Bo, who looks like a surprisingly strong swimmer, is Mackenzie Phillips. I think this next man needs a hand. He swam all the way from Hawaii. James MacArthur, our Harvard boy. And a rather attractive girl. Howard can attest to this. Victoria Principal. And swimming the anchor leg for CBS is Telly's sidekick, Kevin Dobson. That's the CBS lineup. Finally, the NBC lineup. Starting off, in the first leg will be Larry Wilcox. He's quite an outdoorsman. He rides motorcycles and horses, and now we'll see how he does in the pool. The youngest competitor of all three is Melissa Gilbert. She's 13 years old, and I was talking to her earlier. She said she's quite nervous. 6 feet 2 inches tall, Rhonda Bates. Following Rhonda, we have Lance Kerwin. He's the boy who plays in James at 16, but he's really 17 years old. And finally, Dennis Dugan.
Good work, Suzanne. Quickly, the selection of the teams for this competition has been made entirely by the organizer of the event and not by the respective networks. Remember, too, 5 to a team, 3 men, 2 women. Each of the first 4 swimmers per team swims 1 width, 25 meters. The final swimmer, 2 widths, 50 meters. They're about ready. Great start by Big Bo Svensson for CBS. Immediately a huge lead. Larry Wilcox, NBC in the near lane. Debbie Boone trailing in the far lane. And already Svensson reaches his mark, touches Mackenzie Phillips of CBS with almost a half-width lead. And Melissa Gilbert, you saw in the near lane, taking off Tony Tennille in the far lane. But Mackenzie Phillips right there is pouring it on. And the third one, James MacArthur of CBS, is already off. Coming up in the near lane, Melissa Gilbert. Rhonda Bates about to take off. And finally in the far lane, Daryl Dragon gets it from Tony Tennille. But look at this. CBS is already in its 4th lap with Victoria Principal. In the near lane is Rhonda Bates. And in the far lane is Daryl Dragon. And ABC is now second. Kenny Holliday and Lance Kerwin take over for those 2 networks. But Victoria Principal is already touching. And Kevin Dobson is making a run of the swimming competition. Kevin Dobson, a great athlete. As you see, finally, Dennis Dugan get it for NBC and Parker Stevenson for ABC. But look at Dobson, beard and all. He's been waiting a long time to be a winner. CBS without ever having won in the previous 3 competitions. Kevin Dobson pouring it on. Parker Stevenson to the right now is leading Dennis Dugan. Parker Stevenson right there, coming in second for ABC. Winding it up, trailing Dennis Dugan for NBC. Let's meet the winners. This time they gave you a lead. There was no...
No! Half a team! I can't believe it. We got it! We blew him out of the water! All right!
Where is Jimmy?
Look out! This is it! This is all year! CBS is the best! At last! There's no stopping! There's no nothing! All the way!
What did you...
to the wall!
All
We're
right.
going all the way!
Did you bring in ringers? That's what I want to
Victoria
know.
Principal!
She was great. You really were. You did some job.
They've been coaching
Jim!
me.
Come on up
God,
here.
it feels good.
Get the winning team up here. Whoa!
Hello. Jim MacArthur, another of the winners. Congratulations. Where is Bo? He gave you the big start. Hey, Bo, come here. You gave them the big start. You brought your team, really, what they had to have to achieve the victory. How much training have you guys been doing?
Training? Yes.
The official times and results.
No, we practiced today.
You sure did.
Dave, it seemed to be a little bit of problem with the start of that race. You guys going to protest?
No, there was no problem with the start, but I have a serious protest. A gross infraction happened during that race. And I think everyone's quite aware of it. The captain lost his hat in the middle of the race.
That's right.
And
Yeah, I think that's definitely grounds for protest. That's definitely.
Definite foul.
I mean, did you have Popeye there without his spinach?
Of course I wouldn't, Dave. In fact, we have it well documented. As Daryl Dragon came off the starting blocks, he did right there lose his hat.
How about that, America? I think the captain's got to finish the race with his hat.
Dave Campbell without his chalkboard.
Right.
But I don't know if the protest is going to hold up, Gabriel. See, when Daryl Dragon came to the finish line, he was thinking ahead. He had a designated hat right there in the blue lane. You can see somebody handing him a hat at the finish line. That guy's always thinking ahead. Let's talk to him.
Tell him how the strength drains from your body as soon as this fell off.
I noticed that it came off, and I was surprised. It seemed like you slowed immediately right down in the water.
It's like Samson without his hair. Captain must have his hat.
And so you look again at the huge lead given CBS by Bo Svensson of Big Bo. After the first event then, CBS the winner in a rout with 100 points. ABC with 75 points. NBC with 50 points.
That's only the beginning.
That's right, I'm the captain, and ABC is going to win. Thank you very much.
You can see that the atmosphere is festive as they prepare themselves for the rowing event.
But they're just trying out, Howard. We're not sure that these are the actual participants in the event. There's Daryl Dragon. He's very calm, nice even strokes, and Melissa.
Some of them, however, are just enjoying the show from ringside. Cheryl Teagues, for instance. Her presence is felt wherever she is. And we're almost set for the event. Each lap is from the starting position, up around the buoy and back. I know Tony Tennille is leading off for ABC. Let's get her thoughts. You let us down in the swimming, Tony.
Hey.
What's the matter?
I didn't let you down to swimming. I swam as good as I could swim.
Have you ever handled a kayak before?
Yesterday, for the first time.
So you've had practice?
Yes.
You're confident?
I'm confident.
You feel that Kaplan provides adequate leadership?
Absolutely. He is dynamite. And I think our team is going to do it this time.
I hope so. Good luck.
I know it for sure.
Take care.
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing, Tony. For Gabe Kaplan, this event is a matter of family tradition.
The Kaplans are kayak people from a long time ago. From 1800 BC, my great-great-uncle, Ace Ozark Kaplan, beat Attila the Hun in a kayak race. It was close. Attila ate the kayak after he lost. It was terrible.
All right, the teams are ready. We're going to start the rowing competition. Suzanne and Bruce will join in with me. The first lap will be rowed by Tony Tennille for ABC, Larry Wilcox for NBC, James MacArthur for CBS. CBS in the middle lane, ABC in the far lane, and in the near lane, Larry Wilcox for NBC. Look at the stroking. Tony Tennille, not quite direct, but still steady, short strokes, which are what you want. Right, Bruce?
Definitely, Howard. And what you want to look for here is how Tony does with the rest of it going against two men, because she's the only woman on the team. And if she can stay with these men, it's going to be a tremendous advantage for ABC.
Big point, Bruce. Each team must have one woman, 3 men. Now, getting around that buoy is the toughest thing in the world, Suzanne. Look at the troubles they're having. Although MacArthur gets the lead for CBS, negotiating well. Wilcox still struggling. Tony Tennille is around it now. She's beginning to move ahead.
Once you try, you lose your control over your kayak. Once you're pushing too hard.
There you see it. CBS in the lead by about a length. Wilcox now in command of his boat. Tony Tennille hanging in there against the men. The point Bruce Jenner made. Moving steadily. But James MacArthur will give the first lap lead to Kevin Dobson. Tony Tennille falling in the water. Turning it over to Captain Gabriel Kaplan. Already pushing off is Kevin Dobson. And in the second spot for NBC is Jeannie Curtin, already in trouble, almost going out of her lane. Notice that Gabriel Kaplan, with good, steady, short strokes, Bruce, has already caught up to Kevin Dobson.
Gabriel has an awful lot of experience in here, but so does Dobson. They're both very good, well-coordinated athletes. Their timing is good in the boat. It's going to be determined right here in the turn. Who can turn that boat the best?
I'll tell you, looking at Gabriel Kaplan, he looked like Attila the Hun, to whom he alluded earlier. But he's got the lead now. Dobson's having trouble, and Jeannie Curtin finally gets up to the buoy, trying to swing around.
Do you think she's sitting too far forward? Could that be the problem?
I don't know. I'll have to let Bruce tell you.
She could be a little bit far forward, but the main thing is just trying to keep nice, even strokes and not try to overpower the boat, and that's what Dobson did right there.
Kevin Dobson, the great athlete, really fouled himself up, and look at the huge lead now that Gabriel Kaplan turns over to Ken Holliday of ABC. Kaplan jumping into the water, and Kenny Holliday falling into the boat. ABC in commanding position. Dobson finally regains control of his boat. Now, CBS is in second position. And Denise Nicholas, she caused the water. Did you see that?
She's pouring out the water. She doesn't want to get wet. Always,
all over Kevin.
Always feminine.
Okay. Now you see panoramically the lead that Gabriel Kaplan and ABC engendered with Kenny Holliday now in trouble, having taken over from Kaplan.
Whoops.
Plus, Janie Curtin is finally in. She pushes off Lance Kerwin, and that youngster, look at that, Bruce.
That's good form right there. You can see how he's staying forward in the boat, keeping the boat level in the water, and trying to keep that boat moving as fast as he possibly can. Kenny having a lot of trouble right here getting around that buoy, but he's got such a big lead, but here comes Denise. See how she handles that turn.
And her hair's still dry.
Lance Kerwin is up to the buoy, too, but moving steadily ahead now with firm strokes is Ken Holliday. The ABC lead is reestablished.
Kenny's under control again. And you see how he's got a nice smooth stroke. He's keeping that boat right down the middle. ABC looking very good here. Coming into their last person, it's going to be Parker Stevenson anchoring for ABC.
Now look what's happening here. Young Kerwin is overtaking Denise Nicholas. NBC will be in the second position. Holliday gives over to the anchor man, Parker Stevenson, the Ivy League hustler who was varsity crew at Princeton.
He knows what he's doing when he gets in that boat. Lance, a great job for the NBC team. He brings him in second place.
And Richard Benjamin from Clark, the captain of NBC, is their anchor man. CBS now last. All kinds of trouble.
Did you see Denise? After all that trouble, she's completely wet.
Stevenson, well in hand, confident, half smiling. And look what's happening to Bo Svensson, the anchor man for CBS. Oh, he almost fell right out of the boat. There's a guy who was too far back in the boat.
He definitely was. You can see because he is so big and so heavy, he sits far back in the boat, it picked him right up.
Benjamin getting around the buoy.
There he is, having trouble.
Still having all kinds of trouble. But already coming in, the winner, ABC with Parker Stevenson, just breezing. Coming to hand, as they say in thoroughbred racing. So Parker Stevenson leads ABC as the anchor man to the victory, and the joy of ABC as they take the lead in the competition is apparent. And there is Richard Benjamin, NBC's captain, bringing NBC a needed second place. While much further down the track, big Bo Svensson. There was a point in time when I thought he'd displace all the water in the pool. There's Suzanne with the winners.
Strong people.
Out of his sick bed. This man came from
Out of
Texas.
a sick bed, you did it. And Tom, you're very strong. You're right in there with even strokes.
Thank
You had a little problem right in the middle there with.
We lost it for a second, but then we got it back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, and the general glee on the part of the ABC team, suddenly there's a murky blur. Captain Tony Randall is filing a protest over the kayak competition for CBS. Tony?
I'm not saying we came in first, but there should be penalties against both ABC and NBC. Were the rules explained to the audience?
The rules were explained to the audience.
If you go over the, if you go over the dividing line, there are penalties. And I want to know if those penalties were assessed against the other teams, because we did not cross the line at any time. But on our left, they did twice, and on the right, they did once.
All right. Tony Randall claims that NBC and ABC both went outside of their given lanes, in which case there would be an assessment of penalty points. That is his claim. However,
It's not a claim. Anybody could see it. I just want to make sure the penalties
just a moment, Mr. Randall. Your role as a judge on television belies the kind of vocal truculence just displayed. Mickey King is the commissioner of this competition, the great gold medalist for the United States in diving.
It's the commissioner who decides.
Mickey will decide, exactly. We'll be back with a report from Mickey.
And I will be no less truculent, friends. You can count on that.
Very interesting. But if I had a U-boat, nobody would have won. Torpedoes loose!
I trust you